This is the Thriving Artist Podcast with Andrea Fleming, where we talk about how to go from surviving as an artist to thriving as an artist. Let's go. Okay, we got to get over this beef with our survival jobs. It's time to be done. Because the way that we act toward our survival job is just so detrimental to not only ourselves and our emotional health and our mental health, but it's actually kind of counterproductive to our career. And I'm going to explain why. Okay, let me start though with where this came from. Actually, it kind of just came from all the people that I talk to all the time, but partially it came from my past experiences with my survival job. So now I actually don't even use that term survival job, because to me, all of the work that I do in my life is contributing to me thriving. And survival job kind of has a negative connotation to it. It has this like unpleasant connotation to it. Like I'm only doing this to survive. And the truth is, all the work that I choose to do in my life right now certainly helps me survive. But I don't think that I ever really do work. No, I can say with the fact, I haven't done work that I actually do not enjoy in a very long time. All of the work that I have done, I have enjoyed, I've been grateful for, I've been appreciative of. And the biggest source is my side careers. So coaching, personal training, those things that I've actually invested time and energy in to grow my skill set, to grow my knowledge in, those have actually been sources of joy for me, because those are areas of passion of mine. So I stopped calling them survival jobs and I started calling them second careers or side gigs, things like that. But some of you are in this place with your side gigs or your second careers that it does feel very negative. So if survival job for the purpose of this conversation helps you to call on that experience, I actually do want you to call on that experience, because I want you to give yourself the opportunity to see that relationship for what it is, so you can start retraining out of it. I want you to actually see that this experience is not pleasant for you, so that you have the opportunity to create a more pleasant experience for yourself. Okay, so here's the thing. At some point in our careers, most of us need a survival job. Of course, not everybody. There's definitely people who inherit wealth. There's definitely people who their parents support them, or their husbands support them, or their wives support them, right? They don't actually need a survival job. Maybe they do get a survival job, but they don't need it. But most of us in this career, we need a survival job, right? We can't just support ourselves financially throughout our entire career with just the work that we do artistically, especially in the beginning. So why hate them when they do so much for us and there's the option to love them? See, I used to hate the idea of a survival job, like not even just the survival job itself, but I used to hate the idea of a survival job until I really started to see the benefit of a survival job and the benefit of loving my survival job. So I want to explain to you why you should love your survival job. I hope I really sell you on this, because if I do, it's going to change your life. This is why you should love your survival job. It is what provides you with income while you grow the career of your dreams. Okay, if that's not enough to sell you, I'm going to give you more points. But for me, that is one of the biggest things that helped me shift my focus. When I started realizing, oh, wait a second, if I don't have this survival job, then I don't get to grow income. I don't get to pay for my expenses. I don't get to pay for my voice lessons. I don't get to pay for my dance classes. I don't get to make money while maintaining flexibility so I can do auditions, right? I would have to get like a 9 to 5. Not that that's bad. Okay, some people have 9 to 5s even when they're performing, and that's totally not bad. But for me, in my perspective, that's what I was battling against. Like, oh, if I didn't have my survival job, I wouldn't even be able to grow my career. And listen, we all have to start somewhere in our career. Now, some people, they can go from conservatory right onto Broadway, but that is the exception. Many of us, we actually have to build our careers up, just like most other professions. So it's not like a weird thing that we have to do that. It's not, it doesn't mean anything about us. Doesn't mean we're not talented, not skilled. Most professions, you actually have to build your career. It's, I mean, that's like a common phrase and concept is career building. So why would I hate something that allows me to build my career and allows me to support myself while I do that? That was almost enough for me. But here's some other things that I thought of that helped me to really shift my focus. Survival job, if that's what you want to call it, gives you something to focus on in your life outside of performing. Do you know why that's so important? Is because sometimes we can get so wrapped up in our jobs, our career, our gigs, in our careers, in our in this industry, and we get so tunnel vision that it actually begins to be destructive on our emotional and mental health. Like when we are so zoomed into, oh my gosh, I only got 3 callbacks this week, or oh my gosh, I didn't get an offer yet, and it's January 23rd. I'm exaggerating, but sometimes I feel like that's how we act. Like we act like if we only got 3 auditions in a week, then somehow our careers are not going to happen. We're very dramatic, which is why we're in this career. Anyway, when we are so zoomed in to just that, that's how we act. And because we act like that, we stress ourselves the frick out. We make ourselves so anxious, and we beat ourselves up because we're not doing better and we should be doing better. But when we're able to zoom out because we have other things to focus on, like a survival job or a side career, side gig, it makes it so much easier for us to relax about our performing career. Woo! Thank goodness I have my coaching business, because if I weren't over here helping someone else with their, no offense to us and our problems, but they're like really serious problems, then I wouldn't have the perspective to be like, oh, I guess it's okay that I only got 3 Broadway callbacks this month. I guess it's okay that I only booked out half of my year so far, and I have to work on the other half. I think it's okay. I guess it's okay that even though my friends are on tour, most of my jobs are regional contracts this year. And I get to do what I love for, 7 months out of the year. Right? It really shifts your perspective. Thank God. Now, you might not have, your coaching might not be your side career, but it does not matter. Your side hustle might be nannying or babysitting. When you can zoom out and see, oh my gosh, there are other things in life, like growing an entire human being and raising it to be a contributing member of society. And you realize that they need lots of support and love and like encouragement and education. And you get to be a part of that. When you realize that, then it makes you realize, oh, maybe I don't have to be so obsessed about my conversions and the fact that I didn't make it on Broadway before I was 22. Because sometimes we act like that. Someone unnecessary. Okay. It can help you grow as a human, which makes you a better artist. I don't want to go into the weeds about each of these points with examples. I want you to be able to find your own examples. But let me give you one last example of myself in my side career of helping me to grow as a human, which makes me a better artist. Because coaching was such, I mean, even personal training, when I was personal training primarily, all those things helped me to grow as a human, because I had to get out of my own way to grow my business, because I had to get out of my own way to offer somebody some help at the gym and help them to improve their form without them being paid clients. And I had to take a risk and see if they even wanted that help. I gained more courage, right? Because I learned the skills to be able to manage my mind and help other people manage their mind. I became I grew as a human, and I became such a better artist because of it, right? I had more access to myself. I had more access to my own emotions, had more access to my own skill sets. I grew skills, which is the next point, right? It can help you develop skills, which makes you a better artist, or better at the business of art, right? it gives you the opportunity to turn down performing jobs that aren't a good fit. So we already talked about saying no in, I think it was 2 episodes ago. Yeah, 2 episodes ago. But what a beautiful thing. Like, I am so grateful that I make money in so many ways so that I don't have to take a job that doesn't prioritize my health and safety, that pays me $400 a week and makes me work over 50 hours a week for that compensation. Like, oh my gosh, thank you, universe, for opening my eyes to see that I am so blessed that I can support myself in so many ways so I don't have to put myself in a position to be abused and taken advantage of. To me, that's enough. I don't know. What would you need to hear in order to hear why you should love your survival job? And then I want you to go through each of the points that I brought up and think of examples from your own experience of like, oh, how it helps you to develop skills, or how it helps you to grow as a human, or how it gives you the opportunity to turn down performing jobs that aren't a good fit. Yeah. All the points that I said. Come up with examples for yourself and just see what impact it has on you. But I also would love for you to have a think. If this didn't land for you, what would land? What would be something that you would need to hear that would help you to get on board the fact that it's so helpful for you to love your survival job? Okay. Now, you may be like, okay, I'm with it. I get why it could be helpful to love my survival job. I'm not there yet, but I get why it would be helpful. Let's talk about what would get in the way of you actually just doing it, just loving it. Here are some of the common things that I have noticed. One is this thought that all the money you should make should be from performing, or you're not a legit artist if you have to have a survival job. I feel like we've talked about this on every episode so far this month, this thought, because it is so pervasive and it is so powerful and it is just so destructive to all of us. But it really does get in the way of you loving your side career or your survival job when you think that all of your money should be coming from performing, or you're not a legit artist if you have to have a survival job. These are not true, and they don't help you to think them, because what is true is, if you're listening to this episode and you're resonating, or you honestly, if you're listening to this episode, likely you have a survival job, which means that it would help you to love your survival job. It does not help you to think that all of your money should come from performing if you still have to have a survival job anyway. It doesn't help you to think that. Another thought that gets in the way is, this is taking time and energy away from making art or auditioning. Not helpful, right? Again, because if you know that where you are in your career requires you to have another source of income, why would you tell yourself that this is taking away from the career that you want to have? Now, here's the truth. We're going to get into this, but I want to challenge you on that thought, because this is a very pervasive thought, and this is one of the thoughts that I had. And until I started challenging this thought, it really just drained me. It drained me and took away, actually having this thought is what took away from me being able to do auditions and make art. Having this thought and thinking every time I came home from my serving job, or every time I came home from my music teaching job, oh, this takes away so much time and energy, I can't do auditions. Thinking that thought is what drained the hell out of me, because I was so down because of it. So I would like sit in my room sulking about it. So I want to offer that it's actually this thought that's taking away, and that actually the opposite is true. But we'll talk about that later. Okay. It doesn't pay enough. That gets in the way of you loving your survival job. Now, we're going to talk about this in the next section, but I want to offer that it does not help you, regardless of whether it's true or not. Regardless of whether it's true or not. That means that it might be untrue, actually, that it doesn't pay enough. And you're just thinking that because some of these other thoughts are making you believe that you should be either making more money, or you just shouldn't be making money outside of performing. But it might actually be true that it doesn't pay you enough. Still not helpful to think if it makes you feel terrible, and then it gets in the way of you loving a survival job or loving the job that you're doing. This is boring. I'm laughing because this is boring is such a terrible excuse to have a bad day. It doesn't just come up in this area. Like, I'm laughing because I literally just had this experience earlier today where I caught myself going, ugh, this is boring, about a task that I actually assigned in my coaching business to myself. And I was like, this is such a terrible thought, because when I'm thinking this thought, it does not actually give me the opportunity to make this fun, and it's not useful at all. And also, who the frick cares that it's boring? Sometimes life is boring. Anyway, that's why I was laughing. Okay, anyway, I'm not passionate about it. That's like the progression of it's boring. I'm not passionate about it, as if that's a reason for you to not love your survival job. But I'm telling you, it's the excuse we give ourselves over and over when we're working at a gig, and prevents us from loving it. This is what prevented me from loving teaching music to little adorable infant to 4-year-old children, is I would be like, oh, this isn't the kind of art I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about serious art and being on stage and telling serious stories. And I prevented myself from loving the hell out of playing with babies and giving them their first introduction to music, which is one of the most important things in my life, which I am so grateful to whoever the first person was that introduced me to that, because it changed my life. I stopped myself from enjoying that for so long because I'm not passionate about it. Sounds like I could have been passionate about it. Anyway, okay. So those are some of the thoughts that I think get in the way. I want you to come up with whatever other thoughts you think get in the way for you, and really be honest with yourself. What's stopping you from loving your survival job? Just get it all out there. And maybe you decide some of those things you want to keep thinking. I don't care. It's totally up to you. I mean, I do care because I love you, but it's not, I'm not your parent. You can think whatever you want. You can keep thinking all the thoughts that I just told you, but I want you to get it out there so you can choose on purpose. Now, how do you start loving your survival job? I want to give you some counter thoughts to the ones that we just discussed. And then I also want to give you some exercises that will help you to shift your thinking if you choose to. So here's some counter thoughts. Even Broadway and celebrity artists make money doing many things. I gave a long pause because that's how I felt when I realized this was true. I was like, oh, shit. Like, even Rihanna started a makeup business because the singing career wasn't the complete experience that she wanted to have as a professional. Oh, even Beyonce started a clothing company, even though I don't think it did great, but yeah. Mm-hmm. Even Keke Palmer does speaking gigs, does hosting gigs, does promotional gigs. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen on social media. I'm sure you have, because if I've seen it, you've seen it, because I am not that plugged in. I am not that plugged in to pop culture and social media world. But do you remember when people we started seeing those ads of the celebrities that would be like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and for $5, you can have a personalized message sent to one of your people, blah, 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 blah. When I saw that shit, let me tell you something. My jaw dropped to the floor. I was like, if this person has to do this at this level, these are like movie stars, TV stars that were doing this, famous people that were doing this. And I'm sure they were not being paid a bunch of money. Like, they're being paid something because they're celebrities, but like, they're not being paid what they're worth, I'm sure. And that was their survival job at the time. This realization honestly changed so much for me. Like, realizing that, oh, not all, most artists actually don't make money just doing their one field of art, right? As a theater artist, maybe that's what you do. You're not going to only make money doing theater. It's not realistic. That is not reality. If you do TV and film, you're not going to only make money doing TV and film. That is not reality. It's not reality for anybody. And the truth is, anyone outside, well, I almost said anyone outside of the 9 to 5 world is most likely not doing only one thing to make money. But I think the reality is actually that even people in 9 to 5 are not just doing their 9 to 5 to make money. Most people are doing multiple things. And that's just the reality. So can we let it go? Can we like stop telling ourselves that we're not legit if we don't make money, just only doing performing? It's nonsensical. Here's another thought that I love to counter this thought. Having multiple streams of income actually gives me more agency. It gives me more freedom. And this thought, I believe to the bone, and it's one of my favorite thoughts. Knowing that I can make money this month doing coaching clients. I can make money this month doing a voiceover. I can make money this month doing a commercial, getting a theater gig, doing a band gig. I can make money doing, I haven't actually done this in a very long time, but giving a voice lesson. If I really felt like I needed some money and I wanted to make some money, hell yeah, if I exhausted all those other avenues, I would put something out there for a voiceover, or not voiceover, voice lesson. Why not? And thank goodness I have those skills. I am so blessed to have these skills to be able to make money in so many different ways, because I will never, ever run out of opportunities to make money, ever, because there's so many ways that I can do it. I love this thought. Here's another one. A legit artist